Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 7. And for today's video, I will once again be doing a theory and explained video. And this one is in regards to the ending scene which we saw during the latest episode of The Flash, which obviously got everybody mind blown in regards to what is going on with the return of the original Harrison Wells. So I'll be explaining how he is still alive and also what type of a role he could play for The Flash Season 7. So yeah, last episode we obviously had that insane episode of The Flash, which I still keep thinking about. Like, that episode was so good, I cannot stop thinking about it. It was just unbelievably good. But obviously some key highlights from that episode was obviously Speedster Frost, which was just awesome to see. But really the one that got everybody talking was that ending scene of us seeing the original Harrison Wells returning. And yeah, after some time thinking about it, I was able to come up with a theory video in regards to how this OG Harrison Wells has returned and how he is alive. I'll be explaining it to you guys. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. So just a little recap before I actually explain how the OG Wells is back. We obviously cut to the year 2000, where we obviously had Eobard Thawne being stranded in the past. The only way he's able to go back to the future is to create the Flash, and in order to do so, he needs the particle accelerator to explode. However, in the original timeline, the particle accelerator explodes in the year of 2000, which was created by the original version of Harrison Wells. But Thawne cannot wait that long for the particle accelerator to explode. He needs to create this particle accelerator as early as he could, in which in our timeline, the one that we have seen, he was able to create the particle accelerator way earlier than 2020. So he was able to create the particle accelerator during 2013. He's able to get it to explode then. But Thawne obviously orchestrates this accident in which he takes over the body of the original Harrison Wells. But after that, we see him clearing up the crime scene, where he obviously takes Wells's body and he buries it so he could cover up the crime. But moments later, we see these green particles emerging from the soil and the ground. These particles basically form a human body, in which we end up seeing the original Harrison Wells. We obviously knew we were going to get a version of Harrison Wells eventually, but no one expected this. This was just crazy. Now obviously the question in regards to this version of Wells is, how has he returned, and was this scene taking place moments after the Reverse Flash buried him, or was that happening in the present timeline? Now for me, this is in our present timeline. So this OG Harrison Wells came back to life in the year of 2020. And yes, it's 2020, not 2021, because these three episodes, Season 7, Episode 1, 2, and 3, are meant to be part of Season 6. So technically we are still in 2020 in the Arrowverse. Now the reason to why he has emerged in 2020 and not 2000 is because somebody would have definitely seen him in the past, and also it would have just caused way too many plot issues. But also remember guys, post-crisis you can only have one doppelganger living on one Earth. So when Nash was part of Team Flash before he died, and he simultaneously existed with the OG Harrison Wells, one of them should have been affected, in fact both of them. Also, he technically would have been the original Wells, so all of the versions of Wells should have been living in OG Wells post-crisis if he has indeed returned in the past. So including Nash. Nash would have been living in OG Wells as well, alongside the other versions of Wells which we have seen. So that is why the OG Wells did not return in the past. Whereas if he returned in present day, it would make a lot more sense to obviously avoid plot issues. Now, yes, you could argue that during the Flash Season 1, Team Flash dug up that grave so they could obviously examine the body, but you guys could simply use Crisis as an excuse so that after they finished examining the body, they just put it back in its place, or Team Flash may have simply never found it in the first place. They could obviously do that. Now, obviously going into the main question, how is the original Wells back? How is he still alive and how is he existing? Now, personally, I think that this resurrection of the OG Wells is due to the repercussions of Barry destroying the Speed Force during last episode. So during episode 1, the premiere obviously, we saw that Nash was the organic receptor in order to charge the photon sphere in order to give Barry his speed back. That was during episode 1. Now the reason to this is obviously because every single version of Harrison Wells across the multiverse, except for the OG Wells, because he was long dead before these versions of Wells were introduced. But as I was saying, these versions of Wells are living inside of Nash due to Crisis combining all of them in that one surviving doppelganger post-Crisis. So Nash had enough multiversal particles to become the organic receptor. And once Barry got his speed back during episode 1 of season 7, obviously all of Nash Wells' particles helped charge the photon sphere, and Wells essentially became the Speed Force, which charges the artificial Speed Force. So just how like Nora Allen was the Speed Force for the original Speed Force, Nash would have been the Speed Force for the artificial Speed Force. But that didn't go too well because during episode 2 of season 7, we saw Barry destroying the artificial Speed Force, and the residue of the artificial Speed Force started to leave Barry's body once he's destroyed it. And that obviously results into Barry being back with using the original's dead Speed Force instead of the artificial Speed Force. So like all the residues and all of Nash Wells' particles would have been leaving Barry. So the artificial Speed Force obviously contains those residues of the organic receptor, so that being Nash Wells' particles. Now we see these multiverse versions of Wells die, so they don't exist anymore because they disintegrated into these particles, but their particles are still there. Now because Nash is dead, there is no physical body of a Wells on Earth Prime except for the one who died, who happens to be the original Harrison Wells as well, who is obviously the first version of Harrison Wells which has ever existed. Now these Wells particles basically form into this version of Harrison Wells' body, and this results him into getting brought back to life due to those Wells particles merging into that one version of Harrison Wells. That is what I think is going on over there. I know it's a bit complicated, but it's just a theory at the end of the day. I could be totally wrong about this. And remember guys, this is the original Harrison Wells, the very first Earth 1 Harrison Wells. This means if he has been resurrected in present day, he has more than 20 years of his life gone. So it will be fairly interesting to see how he reacts to all of this. It would be pretty cool to see him dealing with these struggles in regards to everything that has happened, with him obviously losing Tess Morgan, I think it was, and him just seeing Star Labs out of the blue. It will be very interesting seeing all of that, and I cannot wait to explore it. But from now on, I think this is the final version of Wells we will be ever getting. This is the final version of Wells we will ever get. Now, this could technically be the smartest Wells as well, outside of Welzabard and Harry too, because obviously Thawne took inspiration from this version of Wells about the particle accelerator explosion. Harry Wells is pretty much this version of Wells' doppelganger, so essentially Harry and this version of Wells should be quite similar, however different as well, which should be very exciting to look forward to. Now, one of you guys had actually mentioned this very interesting theory which I wanted to add for this video. Now, I have kind of put my own spin on it, so it's slightly different to the one you guys mentioned, but it is very similar as well. but I have forgotten the person who has actually told me this theory, so credit to whoever has told it to me. I can't really remember, so be sure to tell me in the comment section if you are the person who told me about this theory. But as I said, this is my own spin on the theory. So in regards to the OG Wells, in one of the trailers we do get this dark room of Barry crying. He is wearing the same shirt that he's wearing during episode 2, and this is a shot from episode 3. Now the thing is, we do have Barry in this shot talking to Harrison Wells, and from the cliffhanger of last episode we obviously know that the original Harrison Wells has returned. So could we get introduced to him in the coming episode, so episode 3, and maybe he could, get like a slight catching up to the things, and maybe he introduces himself to the team, and he could help out with this whole Mirror Master situation. I'm not entirely sure about that, but episodes 1, 2, and 3 of season 7 were originally meant to be set in 2020, as I mentioned before, because this is a continuation of season 6. So everything we are seeing right now is set in 2020. Now this is my part of the theory, and I did add on a bit later. Now most of this theory is now coming from you guys. So in the original timeline, the original Harrison Wells creates the Flash in the year of 2020 by the particle accelerator. But obviously we have seen Welzabard do this already. So what if in post-crisis, now this is my part of the theory, what if in post-crisis we have this OG Wells coming up with some sort of tech which helps save everyone from the whole Mirror Master situation, but maybe causes some sort of an accident resulting into the Flash getting his speed again, or maybe he tries to find a way to get Barry his speed back, and then this results into an accident or something, and then Barry could get his speed back like that, reviving the original Speed Force. I'm not entirely sure, but this would technically mean that the Flash is created in the year of 2020. Now this is coming from you guys again. This would mean that the Flash would be created in the year of 2020. So technically we are moving along the lines of the original timeline, if you want to put it that way. Obviously, as I said before, this is just a theory, but yeah, I just guess we will have to wait and see. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys think about all of this. Do you guys think that this is the way that the original Harrison Wells has potentially returned? I'm interested to see your thoughts towards all of this. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.